Meet Eric. Eric has decided that he wants to study abroad in Australia. Congratulations, Eric! Studying abroad and becoming an international student in Australia is a big life decision that can have big rewards. Eric has contacted MSA Immigration Australia because he wants to live in one of the best countries in the world and end up with a university degree from a world-recognized educational institution that will help him succeed in his profession back in his home country or as he continues his journey and migrates permanently to Australia. MSA Immigration Australia knows that this big life decision can often be stressful because it's important to students like Eric and he wants to get it right. That's why we have simplified the study to migrate process into 4 easy-to-follow steps. MSA has removed all complication and confusion so that Eric can rest assured that his MARA-registered migration agent and QEA education counsellor is taking care of his unique study abroad experience. First, Eric will receive an initial assessment and education counselling session. Our team will then enroll him into his educational institution and get Eric to pay his tuition fee before the final step where MSA will lodge Eric's visa. Once Eric's visa is approved, he can now prepare for his Australian adventure.
Start your future with the University of Southern Queensland. Experience our beautiful country. Our 3 campuses are located in Toowoomba, Springfield and Ipswich in Queensland. We provide a study experience of the highest standard, which is why we are rated in the top 3% of universities worldwide with the highest possible rating in internationalisation and employability. Benefit from our industry-relevant, practical and career-ready degrees. We offer one-on-one employment planning and consultation to help you achieve your goals. That's why our graduates enjoy the highest starting salary in Australia. Take your education further with us. We offer a variety of degrees to suit your needs with a strong focus in IT, engineering, health and more, with a wide range of local and international scholarships on offer for you to apply for. With our personalised support from arrival through to graduation, our experienced staff are here to provide a welcoming environment for our international students. You will experience our world-class facilities and be mentored by our dedicated, internationally recognised educators. With on-campus accommodation and low living costs, studying at USQ will create lifelong social connections through organised social events, fun on-campus activities and the community lifestyle. Studying in Australia also offers you job opportunities and pathways to employment while you study and at graduation. Don't forget to take advantage of the post-study work visas.
I'm Danuki and I'm doing my honours in biomedical science this year. USQ does not only focus on academics, they also focus on general support, especially in times of need. And at the same time, we've got a great counselling team. We've got great support systems through scholarships as well. So it's not just about academics at the end of the day, they also provide you great general support.
My name is Dhruv Patel. I'm from India and here I'm doing a Master of Engineering Science. I did my Bachelor in Instrumentation and Control and I found that my Bachelor subjects and Master subjects are closely matched to this field, and I found that USQ is a very reputed university, particularly in engineering field. That's why I chose a USQ, and I found that many students got a placement from the USQ. So my focus is based university in Australia and I found the USQ, so I choose it.
So, are you ready to start your future with USQ? With more than 100 programs to choose from, apply today. Visit usq.edu.au for more information.
All right. So, good afternoon, everyone. And I would like to welcome you all to MSA Immigration's webinar on Study, Work, and Leave in Australia. I am Reina Ruperto, Qualified Education Agent Counselor, and also your today's host. I would like to start our webinar by saying thank you to all, of course, for taking this time to attend this event. Just a few house rules. Please turn off your microphone and videos as to not disrupt the speakers. There will be also a question and answer portion by the end of the presentations. However, please feel free to type in your questions on the chat box. Today, we are joined by our partner, Pauline. Pauline Padlan, the Business Development Manager of Manila from Global Study Partners, and she will then introduce our guest speaker for today, Daniel Chin of University of Southern Queensland. Please stay tuned until the end. As we will be announcing a promo from MSA Immigration Australia. All right, so without further ado, let me start with a quick presentation about MSA, of course. Thank you. All right. So once again, we are from MSA Immigration Australia, and of course, we will be explaining what is MSA all about in the later slides. So we believe in our logo or our slogan, which is for an international study and migration experience as unique as you, of course. All right, next slide, please. All right. So what is MSA? So there's a lot of questions actually on our chat box, on our social media, or our emails, on our website. What is MSA? So today I will be giving you a quick introduction about the company. So MSA Immigration Australia is of course formerly known as Australian Dream Visa Team, and was founded by our principal, Chris Marie Tentia, in 2017. So we have been existing for a very long time now. Miss Marie Tentia has been practicing for, I think, 8 years, but Australian Dream Visa was founded in 2017. And we did a rebranding quite recently because MSA Immigration Australia was joined by our two directors. So that's Steve Kilarski. He's a Canadian citizen, and of course, Adam Davis. All right. Okay, so MSA is set to be a leading Australian migration agency with, of course, the focus of general skilled visa. So for the longest time, we have been processing skilled migration visa, and now we have expanded a lot more with our services, such as later on, I will be explaining our specific services. All right. So such as other than general skilled migration visa, we also have visitor visa, partner visa, and of course, the focus of today's topic will be all about student visa. All right. So our main office is located in Perth in Western Australia. So we are located in Subiaco in Perth. And our regional office we have here in Ortigas, here in Pasig City and the Philippines. All right. So that's where I am based. And of course, my colleague Ronja Lu is also based. Okay. As immigration agent in Australia, MSA Immigration Australia ensures that clients are provided with up-to-date knowledge about Australian migration law requirements. So of course, not only that we are education agent, but of course we're also a migration agent. So what does that mean for you guys? So it means that everything else above student visa, we can actually help you with. For example, after you graduate, we can help you out with your graduate visa. We can also legally talk about your work rights, you're bringing your family with you and stuff like that. All right. So basically, that's what we do here. And also we cater to clients who are interested to pursue their studies in Canada, but that will be for another conversation later on. All right. So if for those people who are quite interested to go on that path, of course we do cater those kind of services. So later on we will be talking about how you can actually ask us about Canada. All right, next slide, please. All right. So you guys might wonder what are our licenses and certification. So you can see here the badge number of Miss Chris Marie Tentia. So she's the principal and of course the director of one of the directors of MSA Immigration Australia. So you can look her up on the MARA website. So you can just type in Chris Marie Tentia, or you can also type in her badge number or her license number. That's 1796650. So ibig sabihin kasi nito, or what this means is you can check if she's legit, and our company is legit, of course, and if she can give you advice. And of course, hindi naman, or you will not be getting this type of license if you're not legit and talking about the migration. All right. Aside from that, you can also check my badge number. So that's me, Reina Lee Roberto. I'm a qualified education agent counselor with a QEAC number R064. All right. So you can check that one on the QEAC site, or you can actually just type in there, Pierre, look for agents from in the Philippines. So yeah, you can type in my badge number or look for my name right there, so you can see that I'm a qualified education agent counselor. So again, we MSA Immigration Australia staff are highly competent, and we can legally advise about, of course, Australian migration, and can offer you the best student visa advice that fits your profile. So it doesn't mean like we get this question a lot actually on our Facebook, like the question how. It's too general. It's because every specific person has different backgrounds, has different qualifications. So it's quite hard to answer how. All right. So later on, we will be like talking about like the general processes, the requirements, and of course the cost. But until then, we will be running through some of our sites. All right. Okay. So next slide, please. All right. So here are our other services. So our services are, of course, we pride ourselves with years of experience and having vast service that we offer our clients. So myself, I have been in this industry for about almost 6 years now, in the migration as well, migration and of course student visa advice. So I have been trained. I've also been to Australia, so you'll know that I have like personal background in terms of our services and of course about Australia. So hindi lang ako basta magsasalita na parang okay, I know about Sydney, blah blah blah, but of course it comes from experience because I've also been there before. All right. So okay, so just let me like give you a brief explanation about our services. So first, we have student visa. Again, this will be the topic for our today's webinar. We also process family visa. So if you guys have somebody in Australia who you want to bring over in Australia, or somebody who needs these services, like for example spouse visa, child visa, if you know somebody, or if you guys are interested to get this type of visa, of course you can approach us and we can give you the advice, of course through Miss Marie Tentia, so our registered migration advisor. Aside from that, we also process tourist visa. For tourist visa, this is basically like if you want to go and visit a family member in Australia, or if you just want to go in Australia and see the places or see the top like tourist destinations, and of course Australia. All right. Aside from that, we also do skilled migration visa. So it's quite like some people might think this as different, no? So skilled migration visa, just a little bit more explanation about ano ba talaga ang skilled migration. So basically, these are for the people who want to migrate in Australia with the skills and professional licenses that they have here in the Philippines. So ito yung mga engineers, accountants, teachers, architects. So those are the people who are who can actually do skilled migration. There are a lot more, but of course, we can explain this further, or Miss Marie can explain this further if you book a migration advice or appointment with Miss Marie Tentia. All right. So also we do visa consultation and assessment. So for student visa, we offer this for free, so you can book your student migration visa appointment later on. Later, bibigay naman po namin, or we will give you out the information on how you can book your free consultation with regards to student visa. So we don't charge anything for that one. You can ask as many questions as you like, and you can also ask your friends to like if you have interested friends or family members who wants to do like a student visa in Australia, then definitely you can come to us and you can talk to us, and that's for free. For migration visa, that will be for another topic, so that will be in charge, or Miss Marie Tentia will be in charge of that one. All right. Aside from that, we also pride ourselves with offering complimentary services, all right, such as OSH arrangements, so or what we call as overseas student health cover arrangement. So yeah, basically, it's your health insurance para makapag-stay or for you to be able to stay in Australia for the whole duration of your visa. Aside from that, we do also pre-departure orientation. So aside from giving you the advice on how to enroll, how to process your enrollments, or how to process your visa and stuff like that, we also do a pre-departure orientation wherein before kayo umalis or before you go to Australia, we will give you a basically like an orientation on what you should do, what you should bring, ano ba yung mga do's and don'ts. We can also give you advice on opening a bank account, if you can use your driver's license here. In Australia, yun mga yun, we will give you that one, even sa pag-set ng inyong accommodation, and of course, aside from your accommodation is yung mga plane tickets, of course, if you are willing to like, or if you want to get an assistance from us, but of course it's quite easy naman na for some people to book their own plane tickets. It's because it's quite flexible as well, na parang you can look at your own like price range and yung mga baggage na kailangan yung dalhin, rules and regulations ng airport, so on and so forth. All right. We can also assist you in English test exam booking or review booking. So basically what they do accept in Australia generally would be Ielts, or International English Language Testing System, or PTE, or the Pearson's Test of English. So yun basically tawag dito, yung mga ina-accept nila na English test exam. Next slide, please. All right. So as you can see here, these are some of the pictures that I have gathered. Some of course are from Google, but some of these pictures are actually mine when I went to Australia. So these are the like mga animals or yung mga sceneries na makikita nyo. Of course, there's Melbourne there, there's Adelaide, there is Tasmania as well. The one right here is the Tasmanian, sorry, that's not Tasmanian devil, that's a wombat. And the other is emu, yung mukhang bird. And there's of course koala and the kangaroo. So ito yung mga places na makikita nyo actually. And it's actually a very, very beautiful country. I have been to like the major cities already in Australia, and it's so beautiful. So far, syempre meron akong bias against some of the cities there. It's because of course I probably enjoyed more doon sa mga places na to in Australia. All right, so enough about that. Next slide, please. All right, so let me start by saying or discussing about the best reasons to go or study in Australia. So for those who actually read or watch our videos on Facebook, so I have talked about like the best reasons to live in Australia, not just to study in Australia, but basically ano ba yung perks pag you go and study in Australia. So again, the first reason is the work and lifestyle balance. So 3 of the directors are actually from or are in Australia right now. So basically they can say like ano ba yung work and lifestyle balance. However, also I believe Mr. Daniel Chin later on will discuss more about this one. How does it like differ from yung education system natin dito sa Philippines and yung work and lifestyle balance in Australia? So let me give you just an example. For example, here in the Philippines, we actually study like ako as experience ko nung college ako, we've been studying siguro 7 times a week kasi Sunday may NSTP tayo, right? So I'm not sure you guys, pero sa akin nakapag NSTP ako until Sunday yon. So that's the whole day usually yan ng Sunday. So Monday until Saturday, fully packed yung mga subjects ko, like 21 units and all of that. And then parang na-burn out yung mga students from the Philippines is because yung tuloy-tuloy yung halos everyday yung pasok nila, and then there's a lot of requirements and stuff like that. Yeah. And yun, ano yun, may nakita ko nag-pop. Anyway, yeah, so yun, work and lifestyle balance siya. So it's not the same as Australia. So sa Australia, it's more of like, ang pasok nyo is 3 to 4 times a week lang. So, and there's only a few hours of pasok, and then the others will be like self-learning modules na siya, or self-learning na sa inyo na yun, nasa sa inyo na yung oras nyo on how you can study and how you can actually manage your study. It's also because you can actually work while you're studying in Australia. Sorry. The second reason is, of course, the friendly and welcoming, safe country. So yes, I can attest to this one. So my first time in Australia, they've been actually very friendly. Accepted ka kahit ano ang race mo doon. Wala pa akong na-meet siguro na parang merong racism. So parang unlike yung mga naririnig sa news, I haven't met anyone. So all of them has been very, very friendly. Even if they come to visit us here in the Philippines, they've been very friendly to us. And of course, it's very safe actually in Australia as well. The third is unique flora and fauna and plenty of outdoor activities to explore. So dun sa previous na slide na pinakita po namin sa inyo, those are just some of the many beauties of Australia. So meron dyan mga hindi nyo pa mga nakita. So mga first time ko lang din nakita. Like before, I don't know what even a wombat is. What a wombat is. Akala ko Pokemon lang siya, but it's actually like a big ang tawag dito, parang siyang fuzzy na animal. So ayun, yeah, and hindi siya bat, it's like a malaking rat, I'm not sure, pero it's really fuzzy. So yun, aside from that, there's a lot of activities. You can go hiking, meron mga skydiving activities, I think in Perth. You can also go like tawag dito, mga land cruising, stuff like that. So there's a lot of activities that you can actually enjoy in Australia. Oh, number one also na parang isang reason na parang Australia is known for is of course surfing. All right. So aside from that one, we have access to world-class education. So in fact, Australia is the third most popular destination for international students. So later on, you will be knowing more about Australia, but right now, Australia is the third world most popular destination for international students. So the first one is actually the US, second is UK, or yeah. So si Australia medyo umaangat siya recently. It's because like under yung Donald Trump reign niya doon sa US, meron mga discrimination and a lot of like economic or political turmoil in the US. That's why parang medyo bumababa ang international student. The same with UK because of the Brexit agreement. So medyo magulo doon. So but that's why parang Australia is growing or moving into the top already in terms of the most popular destination for international students. So yeah. Aside from that, again, Australia is one of the safest countries to live in the world. So yeah, low crime rates and good community as well. Also, number 6 is capital cities in Australia have been included in the top most livable cities in the world, with the indicators such as the accessibility to healthcare, work, and education, infrastructure, and economical stability, transport networks, community services, and recreational opportunities. So these are the reasons kung bakit yung top or capital cities of Australia are actually on the top most livable cities in the world. Imagine there's lots and lots and lots of capital cities in the world, but I think 5 of the cities in Australia are on the top cities in the world, or in the top 10 actually. So Melbourne has been like number 1 for a very long time, and then recently been topped by I think in Vienna, Austria, then number 2 na ngayon si Melbourne. But regardless, andun si Sydney, Brisbane, Adelaide, and si Melbourne doon sa top cities to live in the world. All right. So aside from that one, Australia is also known for being multicultural, and it's home to a very diverse group of people, and it's got one of the liveliest festival cultures in the world. So you have no idea that there's lots of festivals in Australia for the whole year, of course. So syempre ngayon, since it's COVID, there might be like a slowdown on these festivals, but of course the major ones are still ongoing, right? So also, Australia has some of the finest universities in the world, and graduates from Australian schools are highly sought after due to the impressive international reputation of Australian education system. So, so today we will be talking about one of one of the most prestigious universities in Australia, of course, University of Southern Queensland. Next slide, please. All right. So additional information, Australia is at the forefront of new technology innovations, and this is proven with the innovation and Nobel Prizes in Australia that has contributed to the world, such as Black Box, electronic pacemaker, bionic ear, Google Maps, of course, Wi-Fi, which is yun yung pinaka-ginagamit nating lahat as of now, ultrasound scanner, Gardasil, and of course, lots and lots of kumbaga inventions, of course, from Australia. So there are other benefits as well of studying in Australia. So number one is, of course, gain international qualifications. Pag sinabi kasi natin na gain international qualification, it means that yung qualification natin, you can, aside from using it in Australia, you can actually use it in like Commonwealth countries around the world. So it's also at the same level as, having a degree in America, US, Canada, UK, and of course, Singapore, New Zealand, so on and so forth. So there's a lot. Number two is, of course, building connection with people from across the globe. So because it's a multicultural country, so you'll have friends from all over the world. You'll not just be stuck, with, just having Australian friends or Filipino friends who are already in Australia, but you'll actually build networks from all around the world. Aside from that one, you have work rights while you're studying. So later on, we will, just let me discuss this now very quickly. So work rights while studying, you can, as a student or as an international student, you are allowed to work for 40 hours per fortnight in Australia, or yung sinasabi sa atin dito sa Philippines is actually like per quincenas. So per quincenas, you can work 40 hours. So yun, and then unlimited yung work rights during holidays, vacations, sem breaks, and the recognized school breaks. So yun, those are the times that you can actually work full time. And of course, if you have any dependents, and if you're doing, for example, a master's degree, and you're bringing your spouse with you, for example, ikaw yung main applicant and you will be bringing your spouse with you and you're doing master's, your spouse can actually work full time while you're studying in Australia. So para siya it's a student-dependent visa, pero ano siya, ang work rights niya is full-time, all right? So it's different story though if you're studying like in a bachelor's degree or lower, okay? Aside from that, you can also apply for the full-time work rights on postgraduate and graduate working visa upon graduation. So ibig sabihin upon graduation, hindi kayo uuwi agad. You can apply for what we call a post-study, postgraduate or graduate working visa. All right? So later on, we will be discussing about that more, all right? Or during our like a personal consultation if you guys would like to do that. Aside from that, there's also a possibility of applying for permanent residency and citizenship. So Miss Marie can actually talk about that one later on if you want to book an appointment with us. So yeah, it's basically like yung mga rights. Next slide, please. All right, so these are the 4 simplified steps for you guys on student visa process. So counseling and initial assessment. The second process will be enrolling into a course and school of your own choosing. So I hope that you will be listening to Daniel Chin later and you'll be interested to apply with the courses that USQ is actually offering. And aside from that one, you can pay your tuition fees and other payables. And of course, the last step will be lodging of your visa. All right, so next slide, please. Or do we have any other slide next? Okay. So I will be ending my short presentation there. I will be talking about this later after Daniel Chin's presentation. So wondering if Miss Pauline is here already? Okay. So, right, Miss Pauline, good afternoon.
Hi, Rain.
Hi, Miss Pauline. So, yeah, I would like to give the floor to Miss Pauline and give her a quick, or let her have a quick introduction about who is GSP and, of course, for her to introduce Daniel Chin as well. Pauline?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being with us this afternoon, this Saturday afternoon. So I am Pauline Padlan. I'm one of the business development manager from Global Study Partners. So a very short background about GST. We are a third-party recruitment channel. We're based in Sydney, Australia, and we have a lot of educational institutions that we have partnership with in Australia and other international destinations. And for this afternoon, we are very honored to be joining with us for University of Southern Queensland, Mr. Daniel Chin. So Daniel is currently the International Business Manager for Southeast Asia at the University of Southern Queensland, and he has been working in the Southeast Asian region for 5 years already. He was born in Australia to Malaysian parents and completed his bachelor degree and master's degree in Brisbane. Therefore, he has a very good understanding of studying in Australia and the local Australian lifestyle from an Asian perspective. Daniel is also studying his Doctor of Professional Studies at the University of Southern Queensland with his research topic focusing on international education trade between Australia and Thailand. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Daniel Chin. So Daniel, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Pauline. Hi, everyone. So thanks for that introduction. Hopefully, in the presentation today, I can give a bit of an overview about what it's like studying at the University of Southern Queensland, and also what we can offer to you as a student here in Brisbane or in Toowoomba. So let me just share my screen with you first. All right, thank you very much. So to give you an overview about USQ, we are a university that has been around for some time. So we've specialized in providing high quality research degrees to students, but also in the last few years have really tried to push more into the international space. So we are getting more students from across the world enrolling into our programs now. And even with the COVID pandemic, we are having a number of students choose to study with us online before they actually come to Australia. So there's numerous options for you there. Next slide, please. Okay, so in the presentation today, I'll give some updates about what's happening at the university, but also in the state of Queensland, which is actually the third largest state in Australia. I'll talk briefly about the advantage of studying online while the borders are closed, which last semester we actually had quite a number of students choose to study online with us first before the borders are open, so that they're not wasting any time overseas as well. And of course, we have some scholarships as well, which I'll talk about later on in the presentation. Next slide. So the University of Southern Queensland is a public university, which means it is fully recognised by the government here in Australia. And that's very important for you to consider when coming to Australia, because there are numerous colleges and private universities which you may wish to enrol into. But these universities sometimes may not have the full recognition that a public university in Australia does have. So we are very renowned for our academic excellence, and we offer programs across the numerous disciplines which might be of interest to you. Next slide. Okay, so our campuses are located within driving distance to Brisbane, the Gold Coast and the Sunshine Coast, which are the main cities in the state of Queensland. On the next slide, you'll actually see where that is on the map of Australia. So you are probably quite familiar with Sydney and Melbourne, but Queensland is up here. It's famous for having a more tropical climate. So it's a lot warmer up in Queensland, and also famous for its beaches. On the right-hand side here, you can see where the Brisbane CBD is, which is the third largest city in Australia. And we have 3 campuses here. So you can see Usq Toowoomba, which is our main campus. That's actually located in a regional city. As you may know, if students study in a regional city in Australia, there's actually benefits when they apply for a post-study work visa, which I'm sure they will talk about later on. So you can actually extend your stay in Australia if you're studying in a regional location. The other 2 campuses that we have, Ipswich and Springfield, are not regional campuses, but they're located closer to the city of Brisbane. So sometimes there might be more work opportunities if you're located closer to Brisbane. Or you can even live in Brisbane and commute to Toowoomba as well, as it's only 2 hours away from Brisbane. So 3 campuses, each campus offers something a bit different. So Toowoomba has more of that campus lifestyle, whereas Ipswich and Springfield are small campuses where we offer like business and health subjects as well. Next slide. Okay, so this is the USQ Toowoomba campus. We have over 3,000 students studying at this campus, and it is the largest one. So on the next slide, there are more images that you can see. So if you wish to participate in student societies or anything like that, Toowoomba will have all this for you. It isn't a small town by any means, and it's actually quite a nice climate in Toowoomba because it's located in the mountains. So I guess similar to like Baguio City in that it's a bit of a drive away from Manila, and it has a cooler climate as well. So it's a nice comparison like that, I think. And there are still jobs available in Toowoomba as well. Also, living in a regional city, you can find that the cost of living is slightly lower than if you're staying in a big city like Sydney or Melbourne. So the rent and the food and entertainment is a little bit cheaper in these sort of locations. Next slide. And the one after this, please. Yes, so this is Usq Springfield. And this is the campus where we mainly offer engineering, business, IT, and hospitality subjects. And at this campus, it is a bit smaller, but it is closer to the Brisbane city. So very accessible by public transport, but also driving as well. And this is Brisbane city. So there is a strong Filipino community in Brisbane. Since the last 2 or 3 years, there's been a real increase in students coming from the Philippines to study in Brisbane, and because of the lower cost of living, but also the work opportunities for students when they graduate. If you go to a larger city like like Sydney or Melbourne, it can be quite competitive to find work after you graduate. But this isn't the case in this growing city like Brisbane, where there's more work and jobs coming up every year. So finally, we have the Usq Ipswich Campus, which is very important because we offer only health subjects at this campus. So things like nursing or paramedicine or health and exercise science are offered here. So this is a very boutique campus where it has all those dedicated facilities for students. And finally, it doesn't matter which location you study at. We have a fully equipped student support team at each location. So if you need extra support with your studies or with any like administrative issues, we have an international student support team to assist you with that. And that's one of the benefits about studying at a small university, in that we have dedicated support to assist each student. Whereas if you go to a larger university, it can sometimes be a bit more challenging to get that one-on-one attention. So currently, we have about 28,000 students on campus, but also online students from across 110 countries. So USQ was one of the first universities to actually offer online study. And this was very good during the COVID time because it means we already had the systems in place for students who wish to do some online study. So while you're a student at USQ, you can commence your studies online first, but also when you come to Australia, you may actually have some courses offered online and some offered on campus. So there'll be a bit of a blended approach there. Next slide. Okay, so on this slide here, you can see what sort of subjects we offer here at the university. We offer arts and humanities, aviation, business, education, law, media, and visual arts. So this is within the Faculty of Business, Education, Law, and Arts. And I would say our unique program on that side is more in IT. So information technology, sorry, that's on the other side. Information technology is becoming quite popular for us at the moment because of the work potential in this field, but also aviation. Aviation is a growing industry. Obviously, it has been impacted by COVID slightly, but we have strong industry linkages with Qantas, the official airline of Australia. And on the right-hand side, you can see we offer nursing as well. So nursing is obviously a very popular program for students from the Philippines. And we also have numerous other allied health subjects, including psychology as well, human services, and we also offer engineering. So there's a full range of courses that we offer here at the university. I would say most of them require a good level of Ielts for direct entry as well. So around a 6.0 to a 7.5 would be ideal to get into these programs. Obviously for nursing and some of the health subjects, the Ielts requirement can be a bit higher as well. So for example, for nursing, we need to meet the requirements of the nursing registration board in Australia. So as a result, the Ielts score needs to be a bit higher there. One of the main benefits about our programs here at the university is that we try and incorporate internships and practical placements into the degree so that you get some practical experience before you graduate. And that obviously means it's going to be a lot more easier for you to find work when you graduate because you've already had that hands-on experience in the workforce. Okay, so from my personal experience, why did I choose USQ? So I commenced studying my doctorate degree here recently. And I find that studying at a smaller university like USQ is really beneficial because you do get more access to the teaching staff here. It's a lot more accessible to talk to your lecturers and talk to your teachers, and they're really willing to support you throughout your study journey. I used to study at one of the larger universities in Queensland, and I found that sometimes it can be quite challenging to get that attention from your lecturers because of the size of the student classrooms and the cohorts. Whereas USQ really does try to provide that one-on-one attention all the way from the international student support to the academic support. Also, the reputation for online study is what really drew me. Obviously, I won't be studying online for the whole degree, but during COVID, where sometimes the university was shut down because of lockdowns and things like this, I knew that USQ already had that reputation in place for online studies. So, for example, if you're in the Philippines right now, and you are maybe looking to at least start some subjects. So some students from the Philippines have been studying 1 or 2 subjects before borders are open, so they have less subjects to complete when they come to Australia. You can know that USQ already has a strong reputation for good systems and good online learning for you in place. Finally, the facility is actually very good here at the university. So because it is a smaller university, they do invest a lot into making sure that we have a very boutique but high standard of facilities here for students. So if you're studying nursing, for example, we have one of the best nursing labs in Australia. And that's why students sometimes choose USQ over some of the larger universities because you do get access to very high quality facilities here at the university. Next slide, please. Yep, so the one after this. So this is about our ranking that we received. So 3 years in a row, we were actually rated as the #1 university in Australia for the highest graduate starting salary. So this is very important for students who wish to stay in Australia after they graduate because, it is a very competitive workforce in Australia and the graduate starting salary makes a big difference. Because we are located in Queensland where there's not as many universities as in Sydney or in Melbourne, our graduates are in high demand. So they demand a higher graduate starting salary, and that's across the field of our degree. So whether you're in nursing, engineering, or business, you can be assured that your degree will grant you a good starting salary in the workforce. And as you know, as an international student graduating in Australia, you may be eligible to stay for an additional 2, 3, or 4 years to work. So this is very relevant for students who wish to do that. Next slide. Yeah, this is just a bit about our facilities. So obviously I mentioned before, we have the modern campuses and the state-of-the-art learning facilities. And on the next few slides, you can see some of the facilities that we have. So for students who want to study aviation, we're actually one of the only universities in Australia that have invested into Boeing 737 and Airbus simulators. So these are actually located on our campus. Next slide. And the one after this, please. And this is our health ward simulations as well. So as I said, we do have one of the best nursing simulation facilities in Australia. And also the paramedicine ones are highly regarded as well. Next slide. So with the online study, as I mentioned, you can commence online now. and study just a part-time load as well if you want to. So if you have some extra time before the borders are open, you can choose 1 or 2 subjects and reduce your study load when you actually eventually come to Australia. So this could be an option for you as well. Next slide. And for students who want to stay on campus when the borders are back open, we have accommodation at the university, and it ranges from about $100 to $300 per week, depending on your requirements. So $100 is very attractive in terms of a price in Australia. Usually accommodation will go for about $250 to $350 per week, but because we are in a regional location, the costs are a bit lower. Next slide. And also one thing to consider about the living expenses, it's usually about $1,000 a month for all the food and transport and things like this. So please consider that in your calculations as well when you're thinking about studying in Australia, but also consider that you can be working part-time. So that would go towards covering some of your living expenses. Next slide. Okay, so in terms of applications, at USQ, we require these documents here. It's also very important to have a strong statement of purpose, and your agent will be able to assist you with that, just to make sure that when you lodge your visa application, it covers off all those points there. On the right-hand side, you can see the intakes that we have throughout the year. So semester 1 has already commenced, but semester 2 is the other big intake that we have in July. So if you are thinking about applying for July intake, you can start to already get your documents ready and submitting them to your agents, because it does take some time to process your application. They may need additional documents, and obviously you need to lodge a visa as well if required. So that can take some time. We're in April now, but it's only a couple of months away. And then the next intake after that is in November, which is a very small intake. So we only offer some subjects in November. Otherwise, the next intake after that will be next year in February. We don't know as of now if the borders are going to be open in a certain date, but we are anticipating that by next year, hopefully things will be resolved by then and semester 1 will be fully back open. Next slide. All right, so this is the broad range of the degrees that we offer and the approximate costs. So one thing to consider when choosing an Australian university is that public universities usually will cost more than private colleges. So this is usually around the price range. Having said that, USQ is probably one of the more affordable universities in Australia because we are a regional university. So for an undergraduate bachelor's degree, the cost is going to be about $26,000 to $35,000 per year. And that's for studying 8 subjects. For a postgraduate or master's degree, it's about $26,000 to $37,000 per year. And for PhDs, it's about $30,000 to $37,000 per year. So as I said, this is about the average cost in Australia, but we do have one of the more affordable options here. Next slide. And on top of that, we are offering scholarships. So the prices before was actually the full price, but on top of that, we're offering these reductions. So firstly, we are offering a 25% reduction for all programs for students commencing this year, except for the Bachelor of Nursing. Because nursing is our most popular degree, it's only a 10% scholarship. And we are also offering free accommodation for students at our Toowoomba campus for 1 semester. So that will save you additional expenses there. Obviously right now, borders are closed. So the way these scholarships will work is if you actually choose to study online first, you will receive the 25% fee reduction, and that will continue across the whole degree for you, including when you come to Australia when borders are back open. For the free accommodation, that will actually be awarded to you now while you start studying online, and you will receive the free semester of accommodation when you arrive in Australia. So this is a very generous scholarship. We don't usually offer scholarships of this size. So we've had some students commence initially online just so they can lock in this price, because we may not offer it next year in 2022. Okay, next slide, please. All right, so that was a quick overview about USQ, and just to summarize, I guess the benefits about studying at this university is that you can choose which location you wish to be in. So if you do want to be closer to the larger city, then you can choose Brisbane locations such as the Ipswich and Springfield campus. But if you do want to have the benefits of the regional location, then Toowoomba is going to be an option for you because you can extend your stay in Australia potentially. Also, we do have attractive tuition fees, especially with that 25% scholarship. So something that you may wish to consider at this stage. Also, we do have that online system for you to commence your studies online first before the borders are back open. And you can be assured that we are going to offer you a high level of one-on-one attention throughout your studies here, as opposed to some of the larger universities. So that's basically it in a nutshell. Like I've really enjoyed my time studying here at the university. As I said, it's a very personalized service here. You know, it is a university that tries to care for all of the students, and I think that's very important for students who are coming from another country to Australia for the first time, because it can be quite daunting of an experience being in a new country, in a new culture. So don't underestimate the value of having that additional support. So I hope I've given you a good starting point to consider about studying at the university. And yeah, I'll open it up to any questions now.
All right. Thank you, Daniel, for that wonderful presentation. So later on, we'll be having a quiz. We'll be having question and answer portion after. I'll just finish my presentation that we have started earlier. So, but anyway, guys, you can type in your questions below for Daniel or for myself. So we will be answering them after again my presentation. So yeah, just feel free to type in your question, guys. So yeah, all right. Okay, so by the way, at the end of this webinar, I just wanted you guys to take a screenshot of this webinar, because we will be having a promo which will be announced later. So yeah, we will be explaining the mechanics after as well, the question and answer portion. So Rojalu, please put up my presentation, please. All right, so here we have so here we have my presentation with regards to how much, or the whole process of doing your student visa, and of course the requirements or the basic requirements that you will need for starting your studies in Australia. So I just wanted to explain a little bit more about the regional benefits that Daniel was explaining earlier. So as you know, guys, the most famous places, of course, in Australia would be like Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. So those are actually the cities that are not regional. So everywhere else in Australia is regional. So ano ba ang regional? So what does that, how will that benefit you guys? So studying in regional would mean later on, if after you study, actually you will be having like I've said earlier, you will be eligible to apply for a graduate visa or post-study working visa, wherein it could be also a pathway, or you could also have a pathway through a permanent residency later on. So how does the regional benefit comes in? So basically, what the government, or what the Department of Health, the Department of Home Affairs is saying is that if you study in a regional area, you will be having additional points towards your permanent residency application. So yeah, a lot of people who are actually studying on or in Sydney or in Melbourne or in Brisbane are actually having a hard time to complete the points for them to apply for their permanent residency. It's because they lack the points. So another benefit again of studying in regional areas, you'll be having more points than those who actually studied in Sydney, Melbourne, or Brisbane. It's because of the regional benefit. And aside from that one, of course, there will be probably lesser what do you call this, competition in terms of jobs, I guess. And yeah, and of course, it's basically for some people, they actually opt to move to the regional areas because of job availability, and of course more benefits for them to or when they actually study or move in those regional cities. By the way, regional doesn't mean it's like a province. As Daniel said earlier, it's basic like the one of the campus of USQ. The Ipswich campus, if I'm not mistaken. It looks like Baguio. So I'm from Baguio. So it kind of looks like Session Road actually. So yeah, so basically it's still a city, it's still a big city. You'll have all the commodities that you would need. Except probably for like the big parties, big buildings probably. So it's like well, yeah, it's basically like Baguio. It's not as busy as Manila if you can compare it to Manila. So yeah, there you go. All right. So moving on, I will be explaining more about the process of applying for a student visa. All right. So the first step basically we need to do an initial assessment and education counseling. That is why, like I've said earlier on this presentation, that for different people, you have actually different requirements or different backgrounds, like work experience and education background. So we cannot just, answer the question how. So that's the reason why we need actually to do a one-on-one assessment with you guys, so that we will know like which course would fit you or tailor fit you to a course in Australia. So yeah, basically that's the first step. So the second step would be actually the collection of your requirements. And of course, here are the requirements that we actually would need from you guys. So aside from what Daniel has said earlier, we would need your resume, of course, your passport, and if you have any old or passport and passport stamps on your passport, so we would need that so that we can see, or the immigration would also see, like your immigration history. Aside from that, your academic credentials, such as your diploma, transcript of records, and for those who have or who are interested to the nursing, I guess, like for example, USQ would need your RLE or your related learning experience certificate or your records from your undergraduate degree or your degree, basically. So yeah, aside from that one, certificates of employment if you have been employed since you finished your studies, birth certificate, police clearances. So in the Philippines, there's actually two. So just to clarify this one, so we have clients from all over the world. So some of them, they call it police clearance, but for us, we actually need the NBI clearance from you guys. Aside from that, a statement of purpose. So a statement of purpose is the GTE requirement, or it's basically a statement wherein you have to explain like your intentions to study in Australia. Of course, it has to be a genuine it has to be, or you have to write in like a genuine reason on why you want to study this course, why do you want to study in Australia, how would this course benefit you, so on and so forth. So we at MSA would help you out on how to write that, or basically to check if your requirements are complete, or if you have missed something, we'll ask you to do more research, so on and so forth. All right. Aside from that would be an English exam. Or what we call an Ielts or Pearson's test of English. So maybe later on, if you guys could clarify, like if you have any interest course in USQ, then probably can ask Daniel Sheen what's the English requirement, because we get that question a lot as well. So yeah, there you go. Aside from that one, professional license ID or certificate. So for those who are licensed here from the Philippines, like nurses or pharmacists or whatever, we'll need your PRC license, and of course the certificate that comes with it. Okay. So if you're married, of course, then you have to submit your marriage certificate, national ID, so on and so forth. So, all right. Aside from those requirements, so let's move back on the stage. So on the third stage, we will be actually enrolling you to a school of your own choosing. So we will be helping you out in like, discussing about the benefits and whatnot of enrolling to this school and this course, so on and so forth. And once we enroll you to a school, the school will actually send us back a letter of offer, or send you a letter of offer. So which means basically it says that it contains like how much are you going to pay, how are you going to pay it, what are the terms and conditions of the letter of offer, so on and so forth. Aside from that one, so the next stage would be the fourth step, is for you to pay your tuition fee. So usually you'll only have to pay the first semester. All right. So yeah, the first semester only, and of course you have to purchase the whole duration of your health insurance, or your OSHC as we call it, or the Overseas Student Health Cover, for the whole duration of your visa, or sorry, of your study, plus 3 months towards or after your graduation, or the approximate date of graduation. So all right, so once we have paid once you have paid your tuition fees, and once you have purchased your health insurance, we will receive what we call a confirmation of enrollment from the school, wherein we need this document for us to lodge your visa, and also it means that the school has already received your tuition fee. All right. The next step would be complete your medical. So for you guys, I'm guessing that you're from all over the Philippines, or okay? So we only have like 4 accredited clinics here in the Philippines. I think one is in St. Luke's, one is in Baguio, one is in Cebu, and one is in Davao. All right. So we will be giving you instructions on how you can complete your medical requirements. So basically, what they do is like blood test, I think urine, and physical test. I think those are the tests that they normally do during this stage. All right, and once you have completed your medicals, we don't have to wait actually for the result. We can lodge your visa right away. And once your requirements are complete, and of course, aside from that one, once we get the decision of your visa, we will do a pre-departure orientation. So yeah, for the pre-departure orientation, I have explained this earlier, that we can assist you on like what are the do's and don'ts before you leave for Australia, and of course helping you in booking your accommodation, flights, airport pickup, so on and so forth. All right. So aside from that, I just want to quickly discuss about like the approximate cost that you will be spending if you will be going to Australia. But of course, this is for a single student. So of course, the fees will be different if you're going as a couple or you're going with your family. All right. So we do charge a professional fee of 15,000 pesos, which is payable by installments. Aside from that is, of course, you have to pay your tuition fee. This is converted already in peso. So the values might change depending on the dollar rate, or the Australian dollar rate to peso. All right. So it's on average, it's 36 to 38 as of the moment. So I actually took 37 approximately to get this into this amount. So the amount of the first semester tuition fee that you have to pay would be tuition fee or 561,000 pesos. So of course, I got this amount, or I have converted the amount with the average tuition fee from Usq. So if you guys are eligible to get the scholarship, of course you'll be saving a lot more money. All right. So aside from that one, you'll also have to pay for your overseas student health cover, which is around 37,000 pesos for the whole 2 years of your study or of your visa. All right. The cost of your medical examination would be around 6,500 pesos. Visa fee is around 22,940. Again, depending on the Australian dollar rate. English test will be around 11,500 to 12,000 pesos, depending on the test that you're taking. Is it it's either PTE or Ielts? It depends. And airfare, approximately that's around 25,000 pesos. But of course, you guys can book or can like find a promos, or just to find cheaper airfare for you guys. So approximately, so guys, remember this is an approximate amount, okay? So this is 678,940 pesos. But of course, this is without tuition fee, and of course, considering that we have used 37 as the dollar rate. So this might change, this might go higher, this might go lower. So we're just setting an approximate amount for you guys to consider, all right? So again, if you guys have a very specific course that you want to look into, and you want a very specific computation, then might as well book a one-on-one consultation with us, or student visa consultation with us, because it's free anyway. All right. Next slide, please. Oh, I think this is not the one. All right. Okay. All right, so let's move on to the question and answer portion. So guys, do you guys have any question for us? All right. So yeah, I don't guys would like to open the floor for some other participants to ask questions. If you have any questions, either for me or for Daniel, of course, we will be answering them for you guys. Okay. So while we're waiting, Daniel, for some questions to pop up, I just want to clarify, like usually what's the IELTS band score for a bachelor's degree and for a master's degree?
Yeah, for a bachelor's degree, it really is about 6.0 to about 6.5 for most of the programs, with the exception of like education or nursing, where it's about 7.0 to 7.5. Nursing at the moment is a 7.0, and things like education, like early childhood, is about 7.5.
All right,
But
that's good.
we offer like English courses as well. So if a student doesn't meet the right score, they can also study English with the university to get them up to the required standard.
Yeah, okay. All right, thanks for that. Usually what's the lowest band that they should have? Like, you know, overall band, they should have like 6, right?
Yeah,
So,
overall band would be 6 with no band less than 5.5, for example. Or if it's like a 7.5, we might say no band less than 7.0.
All right. So yeah, we have another question here. How to get the scholarship? How to get the scholarship program?
Yeah, to get a scholarship, all you have to do is submit an application, and your background and your academic transcripts will be used to assess whether you are eligible for a scholarship. So you don't need to do any additional applications for the scholarship. You just need to submit the general application, and our team will assess to see whether you meet those requirements.
Oh yeah, I see. So usually, like from the Philippines, because we have like a different grading system, right? For Australians and of course from the Philippines. So usually, what is the average that you're looking at for them to be eligible for the what do you call this, for the scholarship?
As long as they meet the requirements for entry, that should be enough. And then we'll consider it from there based on other factors as well. So there's no strict like cutoff for the scholarship.
Oh, all right. Thanks. Thanks about that. All right. So guys, would like to encourage you to ask more questions.
I can see a question here from Gisrael Limbo. Is there any certificate course in USQ? Yes, we do offer certificate courses. However, they're quite short. So it's only about 6 months in duration. So it won't be any benefit if you are looking to extend your stay in Australia. It's more recommended that you choose a course that's at least 2 years in duration.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, guys, just to give a little bit more insight on that one. So basically in Australia, what they're saying is you have to study like a minimum 2 years study in Australia for at least a bachelor's degree or higher, or if you're studying a certificate, if you want to like extend your stay further, you have to study a course that would lead into an occupation that is on the medium to long-term shortage strategic skills list. Sorry, that's so long. Or the MLTSSL. Yeah, so basically there's that. So as Daniel was saying, yeah, they do offer like certificate programs, but it doesn't lead like into like further stay in Australia. But Daniel, can they actually package it with something at least to, you know, extend their stay?
Yeah, they can do that. However, there's really no difference because the certificate is part of the bachelor's degree anyway. So yeah, you would only need to do a certificate if for whatever reason you don't meet direct entry into the bachelor's degree.
I see. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Okay, so there's another question here from, hold on. Okay. Carl Dulata, do I still need to take an admissions test?
There's no admissions test for most of our degrees. However, there are some very specialist programs. So for example, the Masters of Clinical Psychology, which is a very niche program, would require like maybe an interview or additional things like this to get entry. However, for most of our programs, there's no admission tests required.
Yeah, right. So they only have to submit the requirements that we have talked about earlier, right? And
Yeah, that's right.
submit like with the application form, of course, to GSP. All right.
Yes.
Thanks, Daniel Chin, for confirming that. From Queenie Villarwell. Sorry, is that Villarwell? For nursing course, can you take PTE or is it required to take Ielts? If PTE is acceptable, how much is the passing rate or how, like, yeah.
Yeah. So yes, good question. We do accept PTE, and we actually have a PTE testing center as well at the university. In terms of the actual score required, let me just quickly check here. So it just says an IELTS score of 7.0 or equivalent. So if you go into our website, they have a direct conversion into the PTE. So I'll quickly check it here if I have the time. So it is listed as a category 4 program for our English schedule. And for PTE, that comes to 65.
Yeah, 65 to 72. Yeah.
Yes.
So no band lower than 7 as well, right? Or
yeah, that's right.
So overall, so like each individual score, you have to have like 65 to 72, and overall should be as well 65 to 72. So that's the equivalent on the PTE result. All right.
Yes,
so I hope that clears your question, Queenie. Thank you for that one. From Gisrael, what if we don't still have an English exam or IELTS exam? So yeah, I think I could answer this. So basically, I'm not sure if Daniel would agree with me on this one. So we can actually put forward your application. However, they will be sending back a conditional letter of offer, right?
So, yep, that's right.
But they have to submit still. They still have to, or Gisrael, you have to submit an IELTS or a PTE exam. So yeah, basically that's a requirement for you to start a study in Australia. Yep. So just also to clarify, Daniel, you don't have an internal English test, right?
No, so we just have the PTE testing center at the university, but we don't have like our own English test available for students. They have to do one of those ones to make sure they meet the requirements.
All right. So another question from Benji, did the school offer Master of Teaching, or does the school offer Master of Teaching in Secondary Studies? And if so, how much is the annual tuition fee?
Yes, we do offer the Master of Education with the specialization in secondary. The annual tuition fee for that program from memory is about $32,000 per year. So that will be a total of $64,000. However, that's before the scholarship. So you can reduce that price by 25%.
Yeah, so guys, let me just say USQ is actually one of the like economical ideal school actually in Australia. So on top of like before scholarship or after you get actually the scholarship, it gets a little bit more like cheaper. So of course it's one of like I really suggest for you guys to like take chance in putting forward an enrollment before the scholarship will not be offered by USQ anymore. All right, so thanks Benji for that question. From Vincent, is it really hold on is there a need to have a visa when we can take classes online at the comfort of our home?
Yeah, good question. You don't need to have a visa if you're studying online. However, we do recommend for you to still apply so that you can make sure when borders are back open, you actually meet the eligibility to come to Australia later on to fulfill the rest of your degree. Would you agree as well, Rain?
Okay, so like it's a different like for us, like of course because we're like a migration agency as well. So let me just explain or expound this a little bit further. So I do agree with Daniel that you don't need a visa for you to start an online class. However, if later on you want to go to Australia and continue your studies, you have to have a visa before you start your class online. For that course or for that study duration to be included in the 2 years minimum for you to be eligible for the post-study working visa after your studies. So yeah, basically there's that, because you won't, or the study period won't be counted if you don't have a visa and you started your classes online. So probably a follow-up question on that, Daniel, is like, what if the student starts online and the visa gets refused? What's your like, do you refund or do you still allow the students to continue their studies online regardless?
Yeah, we offer both options. So some students choose to just continue studying online, but some actually can get the full refund as well. So it's up to them.
Okay, thanks for that one. So from Jake, is there an age requirement for those who intend to avail of your scholarship?
No age requirement for the scholarship. However, as you know, if you're applying for a visa to come to Australia, there may be age restrictions or limitations, so to speak. So that's going to be the more relevant factor for age.
Okay. Another question from Jake. May we ask for the complete details for the scholarship program? So I guess Daniel answered this earlier already. So we only have to like check your academic, or they only have to check your academic credentials. So this will be an automatic review as well. So you just only have to complete to submit the completed requirements, most likely the academic requirements to us, and we will be sending it over to GSP for them to coordinate this with USQ. All right. So yeah, basically that's how it is. And of course, on the letter of offer, you will be like receiving, or it will be reflected if you actually got the scholarship or not. So yeah. From FB Live, from Joe, he is asking, is it okay to pay in term installments, or do you have masters in agriculture, and how much?
Yes, so we do have a master in agricultural engineering, and that is also within the price range of about $32,000 to $35,000 per year before the scholarship. In terms of the payment installments, you just have to pay by semester. So each semester would be about 4 subjects. So it would cost about $16,000 Australian dollars for each semester.
All right, thank you. So are there any more questions, guys? So yeah, please feel free to ask more questions while we're here. Right. So yeah, while we're waiting for my questions, how is the COVID situation in there in Australia?
Yeah, it's pretty good right now. They're already talking about opening a travel bubble between Australia and New Zealand, so we can actually travel to New Zealand without doing a quarantine period. And they're looking at expanding that to include Singapore. So at the moment, they're saying Singapore might be like a hub for students who want to transition from other countries in Asia where the COVID vaccine is sort of coming through. And they'll do a quarantine in Singapore and then come to Australia after that. So each of the states in Australia have been sort of submitting like proposals to have international students back by next year, and having like quarantine measures in place. So we'll see how that goes. But in terms of the situation right now in here, like there's not too many restrictions. It's pretty much back to normal. I think one of the only restrictions right now is that you can't dance. So you can't go to a venue and dance, but you can still go and eat there and that sort of thing. So it's pretty much back to normal.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know. So yeah, because we actually get that question a lot, like, hey, when is the borders opening? Because a lot of these people are actually like quite interested to go right away. It's just that, we just don't have any like solid answer as towards like when are we going to open the borders and whatnot. So yeah, well, I think the government of Australia is doing their best actually to bring in or getting back the international students to study, of course, in Australia. Okay, another question from Jade. Is the medical exam general like physical and mental exam? In case of a problem, will it be a problem on the application? So I guess I could answer that one. Usually for the medicals, they only do the blood, urine, and I think X-ray, because they want to see if you have like scar on your lungs. So they're just watching out on pneumonia or tuberculosis as well. There might be additional like vaccines that you might need to do, like for example, flu shots, measles vaccines, and I'm not sure, like once the borders open, they might also require like a vaccine or a COVID vaccine as well. So that's not yet on the books. However, those are the general medicals that they're actually gonna do. It's only your blood, urine, and of course X-ray. Okay, so if in case there will be a problem on, like for example, they found a scar on your lungs, the medical center will actually contact you and give you advice on how you're going to clear that scar, and you can actually lodge your visa, or you can actually clear your application once they see, like after 3 months or after 6 months, there's no more scar on your lungs. Okay. So basically, that's the only one that I have been, encountered so far. Those people who have scar in their lungs. So I guess I had like previous 2 people, I guess, who had like scar in their lungs, and yeah, they were only required to do some medications and have it cleared after a few months. Okay. Aside from that, as another question is from Jake. Okay. From Jake, can I still avail of your scholarship program even if I already have an existing scholarship, so as to maximize the entitlements or benefits considering the prevailing living expenses?
Yeah, I mean, you could still apply for the accommodation scholarship. I guess if you have a scholarship through the government where it's fully funded, obviously you wouldn't need to pay anything, so we can't reduce it any further, but like we could offer the accommodation scholarship so that you get 1 semester free accommodation here.
All right. So, okay. I hope that clears your question, Jake. From another question from Vincent. What is the main specialization of USQ, and which university in Brisbane has a focus on political science? So, yeah.
Yes, sure. So the specialty here at USQ is more in like the practical courses like nursing, education, and also in like some of the business and commerce fields, especially if you're studying the bachelor's side, and also aviation. So that's becoming more popular for us at the moment. If you do want to study political science, usually in Australia, those sort of degrees are taught at the larger like sandstone universities, we call them. So like the University of Queensland in Brisbane is more in the arts and political sciences. So I would recommend that university if you do wish to study that side.
All right. So, okay. So I hope that answers your question, Vincent. So from Gretchen, can a diabetic 1 type 1 patient apply with regards to medical exam and health insurance? So, I guess the people who can actually answer this ones are those people who are doing the medicals themselves. So just to remind you, we are we only get we don't actually get the results of your medicals. It goes straight to the Home Affairs. However, the medical examination center will ask about your history or your medical history, to give you more insights about your application or your medical examinations. All right. So I guess you can actually also do a visit with these clinics and ask about your or the medical your medical history, and disclose everything to them and have a checkup. Yeah. From Nikki, is there a link for us to submit an application for scholarship? I don't think.
No, it's just within the application form before you apply. Yeah.
I agree. So, yep. From Kits, is there a chance that I can study in Australia for free? So, Daniel, do you have like insights on this one?
I mean, if you apply for a government scholarship, potentially it could be for free. But it's very rare for an Australian university to give a a fully funded scholarship unless you're a high performing student in your field over there.
Yeah. So so I hope that answers your question. So I do agree with Daniel as well. So unless you apply for a government scholarship, so even here in the Philippines, like I see some posts from the Austrade and of course the Philippine government, wherein they're actually giving scholarships for those people who wants to study in Australia. However, you have to come back to the Philippines and of course serve your or like make use of that study into the benefit of course the Philippines, so something like that. So you can check out actually the website of the government of the Philippines. All right, so from Neil Galamiton from FB Live, are there scholarship grants? Yes, there is. So I guess he missed that part of that talk earlier. So yeah, once again,
25%.
Yeah. So once again, Daniel, if like it's because we're on live on Facebook, by the way, so they might have missed. So if you might want to like tell us again about the scholarship.
Sure. Yeah. So for those of you who missed that part about the scholarships, we are offering a exclusive 25% scholarship for all of our degrees except for the Bachelor of Nursing. So for the Bachelor of Nursing, it's a 10% scholarship, and it's for students who commence their studies this year, and it will continue on to next year, potentially when the borders are back open. So it's important to lock that scholarship in now this year, so that that price will continue for the rest of your studies at USQ.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so I hope you guys were able to listen on that one. Another question here is there a hospitality management course in USQ? So as you know, Daniel, like for example, in Baguio, it's one of the biggest, markets, hospitality, and it's also actually even here in Manila, it's quite large. So yeah, do you have any course in the hospitality management?
We don't really have many courses specializing purely in hospitality management. We have more courses like in project management and like in business and commerce, but not a real specialization for students who want to go purely into like a hotel management or tourism management role, unfortunately.
Yeah, all right, that's true. However, guys, so you can still come to us. You can still book your what they call this appointment with us if you're really interested to do a hospitality management course. We can still give you some other options. So I'm sure Daniel would understand this one since they don't have this program. So yeah, we can still give you some options on that one. All right. So anything else, guys? So all right. So are there more questions? All right, so I just want to share sorry about that. So I just want to share some more things about MSA. So where can you book your presentation? Your appointment with us. So hold on, let me just get that part. All right. So since we've already finished the question and answer portion, I just want to share what makes MSA Immigration different. So number one, of course, we take the time to understand the personal needs and challenges of our clients facing, and of course, assess the eligibility to provide them several options that work for their unique needs and fit with their unique budget. So that's also one of the reasons why I really would like to encourage you guys to book an appointment with us. So of course, if you want to enroll with USQ or the courses that they're offering, I hope that you will book an appointment with us. And of course, we also have, or another reason is, of course, we aim to provide several options and of course suggest best solution to our clients only after rigorous research backed by our Australian migration law and international education knowledge. So we have been in this industry for quite some time now, so we know what we're doing, we know what we're talking about. All right. So we also rely on our difference in our cultural linkages to our home country. So actually, two of our directors are migrants. So Steve Kalarski is actually Canadian and he migrated to Australia, and Miss Marie Tentia is Filipina. So yeah, and of course they have experienced other challenges of people wanting to be in Australia. Aside from that one, our connection to the Australian society and embracing its culture. Again, all of our directors, though, even if two of them are migrants, they're all Australian citizen, and they can provide realistic life setting and, of course, strong support for our clients, such as accommodation arrangement and connection with the community. So we can connect you guys to our previous clients who are already in Australia and introduce you to some of the groups that actually helps other international students to foster in that foreign land. All right. And aside from that, we also rely on our holistic services. So we are actually like a one-stop shop service, from proper school placement, visa lodging, addressing migration-related issues, and of course supporting our clients post-visa grants. So it doesn't mean that after you get your visa, we're just gonna let you be on your own. Of course not. We're going to help you out on like pathways, and of course, like if you have any visa needs after you graduate, of course we're gonna be there for you guys, and we're not gonna stop our connection with you. And also, of course, we are professional. We have integrity and ethics, and customer satisfaction. So you can see all of our reviews on our website, on our Facebook, and all our social media accounts. All right. Aside from that one, okay. So here are our contact details. You can contact us for. So for those who are located in Australia, you can actually visit our office in Suite 5 in 521 Hay Street, Subiaco, Western Australia. And of course, in the Philippines, we are here at the 19th floor of Marco Polo, Safari Road, Ortigas, Pasig City. So here are the links to our Facebook, Instagram, and of course, website. So here are the three directors. So Marie Tentia, directors Kiv Kilarski, and of course Adam Davies, who are watching, I think, on Facebook Live. Hi guys. So yeah, here is the counselors from here in the Philippines. So this is me, Reina Roberto, and of course my colleague Ron Jalu. So he's also an education counselor, guys. All right. So for you to be able to book your appointments, we will also put link in our chat box. So you can book your appointment through this link, msaimmigrationaustralia.setmore.com, or you can actually scan this QR code right now. So I'll give you like at least 5-10 seconds to check that out. So that will go straight to our appointment link. All right. Okay, so I guess that ends my presentation as well. So yeah. So I guess that's it. But guys, do you have any more questions? Okay, from Marie, tell us most. Sorry. Okay. Okay, from Jake, sorry, my apologies. How do we get in touch with your company in order to book consultation? So again, we will be sending it to our chat box. Jalu, can you please send the link below? Aside from that, tell us more about the post-study work. All right, so post-study work, right? Sorry, just to be just to give you a more idea about post-study work, right? So we were explaining earlier, and Daniel also opened this idea earlier, that if you actually study in Australia for at least 2 years in a bachelor's degree or higher, or in a certificate level with a course that leads into an occupation that is on the MLTSSL, for again 2 years, you will be eligible to apply for what we call a post-study working visa or a graduate working visa. So what are those? So post-study working visa is basically you will be granted by the government for studying 2 years in Australia for a full-time working visa or a temporary resident visa in Australia where you can work full-time. So yeah, that's for a post-study working visa. But for graduate work, that will be around 18 months for you to be able to stay further in Australia. So Yeah, and of course, it depends on the course that you're taking up. It depends on your qualifications if you can apply for permanent residency. So again, we will be here to assist you on that part since we're a migration agent as well, so we can help you on that one. Guys, do you have any more questions? Yeah, sorry, update about the promo. Sorry. Yeah. With regards to the promo, earlier I said, guys, that you should take a screenshot and of course you can send that screenshot to us on our email, and of course send a screenshot that you have liked our page on Facebook, and we will be doing a raffle for our promo I think this next Friday, to get all your entries. And 3 people, I guess, will be winning Grab credits. So we will be forwarding you guys, or we will be having a raffle this coming Friday to choose 3 people who will win Grab credits. So yeah, it's like a thank you guys for attending this webinar, and of course, it's also like an appreciation for you guys taking this time for listening and getting more inputs about Australia. So I hope you guys can have or learned a lot today. So again, I would like to thank also Pauline from GSP. Pauline, thank you very much for making this happen, and of course to Daniel Sheen, who is with us right now. So thank you very much for that very wonderful presentation. I hope that you guys really, or everyone here on the chat box, have really learned something new today, and of course would proceed to their dreams of studying in Australia as well.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and hopefully soon the borders will be back open and you guys can fulfill your dreams here.
Yeah, I hope so. So Pauline, thank you very much as well. Any words
Thank
or
you.
any more words, Pauline?
None so far. I think it's very informative coming from Daniel. Thank you so much for your time, Daniel.
Thanks, Pauline.
Yeah, so if you guys don't have any more questions for Pauline, myself, or to Daniel, I would like to wish everyone a great weekend, and God bless you, and I hope that you guys really learned something today. So I think this concludes our webinar. So yeah, you guys should check the link on our chat box, and I think that's it. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Happy weekend.
Happy weekend, guys.